This is your one and only 𝐈𝐸𝐻𝐵𝐾81 with your daily dose of video goodness, and today we are going to talk about the top 10 most efficient spells in Elden Ring. Let's get to it. So I went through and tested every single sorcery in Elden Ring in order to find out what the top 10 most efficient spells are. Now, what do I mean when I say efficient? An efficient spell is a spell that gets you the most damage possible per point of FP or mana spent. Now, there's a few things I want to talk about on how I did this test and came to this conclusion before we get into the countdown. Don't worry, I'll make it quick. First off, I did this at maxed out intelligence using 𝐴𝐵𝐷𝑒's glintstone staff. I did not wear any armor or have any talismans or buffs equipped or active that would in any way increase my damage. And that is because I wanted baseline max damage values for each spell. From there, we know where they rank in base efficiency, and if we want to boost that efficiency to up their rank on the list, we can. So for example, the Great Oracular bubble comes in at 15 on the list. Well, we could probably boost that 3 or 4 or more spots by wearing the Envoy Crown, which boosts bubble spells, and using the Godfrey Talisman, which boosts charge spells. Both of those combined should push up its efficiency. On all of the channeled spells, I did not channel them. I simply pushed the button to cast them, and once they started casting, I let go of the button. The reason I did this is because the amount of damage that they can put out is dependent on what your mana pool is. However, from the testing that I've done so far on those spells, they seem to do the same amount of damage every time they tick, so it really shouldn't influence the efficiency of the overall spell by just letting it end naturally without holding down the button to channel it longer. That should, in theory, give us the baseline efficiency for said channeled spell. All right, I think that covers everything for how I did my testing and why I did what I did and how I got the results that I got. If you have any other questions, let me know down in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Coming in at number 10, we have Magic Downpour. This spell did a total of 1,843 damage with a FP cost of 30, means that for each point of FP we spent, we did a total of 61.43 damage. Coming in at number 9, we have Briars of Sin, dealing a total of 881 damage with an FP cost of 14, means we got an efficiency of 62.92 damage per point of FP. At number 8, we have Founding Reign of Stars, dealing a total of 3,166 damage with an FP cost of 48, means we got 65.95 points of damage per point of FP. Number 7 is the 𝐼𝐸𝐻𝐵 Ice Storm, dealing a total of 2,179 damage with an FP cost of 33, giving us a total damage of 66.03 per point of FP spent. At number 6, we have Meteorite, dealing a total damage value of 3,156, costing 45 FP. That gives us a damage to FP ratio of 70.13. At number 5, we have Shatter Earth, dealing 1,339 damage, costing a total of 18 FP, giving us a value of 74.38 damage per FP. Number 4 is Night Maiden's Mist, dealing a total of 2,269 damage, costing 30 FP, giving us a value of 75.63 damage per FP. Number 3 is Crystal Burst, dealing 1,903 damage, costing 21 FP, dealing 90.61 damage per point of FP. Number 2 is Oracle Bubbles, dealing 1,663 damage, costing 18 FP, dealing 92.38 damage per FP. And our number 1 most efficient spell in Elden Ring is Carrion Slicer. Carrion Slicer, however you say that word, It did 793 damage, costing 6 mana, giving us a total of 132.16 damage per point of mana spent. So if you want to get the absolute maximum bang out of your FP pool or mana pool, whatever you want to call it, Carrion Slicer is your way to go. It is your #1 most efficient spell, and I don't think anything is really going to top it, even if you go out of your way to make other spells more efficient. Now, I do want to point out that a few of the spells on this list involve the target staying inside the area of effect of the spell for the entire duration of the spell, or getting hit by every one of the spell's projectiles. For Oracle Bubbles, I was at point blank range and our test subject got hit by every one of the bubbles. Same thing with Crystal Burst. Got hit by every one of the little crystals. For Night Maiden's Mist, it stayed inside the area of effect the entire duration of Night Maiden's Mist. With Meteorite, got hit by about 3 or 4 of the meteorites, and I did not channel that spell. That is a channeled spell. That was a single click to activate it, cast the spell, and then stop. So that's the full damage that we get for 45 mana, and the target staying within the area of effect and getting hit by a few of the meteorites. Zamora Ice Storm, the target stayed inside the area of effect for the entire duration. Founding Rain of Stars, same thing. That's the entire duration's damage. And for Magic Downpour, the target got hit by a majority of the little rain droplets or magic, whatever you want to call them, magic missiles. The target got hit by a majority of them, but not all of them. So if it's a large target, the efficiency of that spell may go up even more than where it stands now. So the efficiency of our top spells is dependent on some certain variables. And I think that's why they're so efficient, because the chances of this happening in a normal battle situation can vary from battle to battle. I mean, a large boss, it's going to be pretty easy to get them to stay inside of Night Maiden's Mist for a longer period of time, or hit them with more of the meteors from the meteorite, or stay within the radius of any of the other AoE effects, or get hit by more of the projectiles from our multi-projectile shotgun style spells. However, our most efficient spell is 100% dependent on you and being within melee range. And I don't think there's much that's going to change how efficient that spell is or knock it out of its seat at #1. I am going to do some testing though to see if that's possible, and I'll release a video at a later date seeing if it's possible to be more efficient than Carrion Slicer. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when I release that video. And if you would like to see the full list of all of the spells and their efficiency, I am going to post that over on Patreon, so Patreon supporters can see that, and I will post it over on the channel's community tab for all of the channel members. So if you are a channel member, you will also have access to it over there. And per the usual, y'all know what to do. If you found this video helpful or informational, consider hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified when I upload other videos. I want to give an absolute massive shout out and thank you to my supporters on Patreon for making this episode possible. Y'all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to join my Elite Crew Patreon supporters, please check out the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and show your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.